Wow.
Hello, welcome to the YGG SPL podcast Into the Splinterlands. My name is RoguePatton. I am joined by my co-host Damour.
Hello, everybody. What is up with you?
Right? And in between us, as always, almost like a referee, the calm and sober mind of Tails from the Crypt Mancer. What's going on, Tails?
What's going on, Rogue? Hey, Damour. Thanks for having me on.
It has been a couple weeks since we have done this. So we've got essentially a couple topics that we can go over. We've got new proposals, I think, to talk about. We got new reward cards that just came out. We've got the end of the old reward cards. We do some speculation there. Crypto market is pumping. BTC's above 24K now. I know that was a big contentious point. So lots of exciting stuff happening in our world. So I am going to leave it up to you guys on where you want to start. Where should we start this evening? Ooh, I know where we actually should start. I apologize. I thought I was going to give you guys the responsibility, but nope, taking it.
Taking it back.
For those of you in YGG SPL, make sure that you guys are in the YGG SPL Discord. There has been many conversations over the last 24 to 48 hours involving committees this go around, which I'm actually really excited about, because when I joined YGG SPL, there was really no formal election of the committees. We just had committee men based on their qualifications, stature, whatever. Sometimes you just ended up on a committee, right? And it was all volunteer based, and we did all right? But for the first time, we're actually formalizing this into an election process to be elected by token holders, right? So there is going to be nominations put forward for committee members. And I want for you all, if you're token holders, to make sure that you're involved in that. Also, if you're interested in serving in the sub-DAO, get involved in the conversations. Do not be on the sidelines in this sub-DAO, because that's not how sub-DAOs work at the end of the day.
As a token holder, you are an asset. You're a shareholder of the assets that the DAO holds, right? So
did you just call them all asses?
Well, no, it may have sounded like that, I suppose, phonetically.
If you're a token holder, you're an ass. You're an asset.
Holder,
to
asset
the organization.
Holder, an asset holder, a bearer of assets, so to speak.
Tails, you're an asset.
Holder. Yes, I know, I heard.
A hodler. Maybe HODL is more, today's day and age speak. A hodler.
But yeah, so now's the time. Make sure you get involved. Be responsible for the people that you kind of put into these positions, because especially now we're from where I started to where we're at now, we're definitely on the threshold of
greatness.
Yeah, of building the utility for the YGG SPL token, right? Outside of just the governance, right? How is it going to be the metric for using DAO assets or sub-DAO assets? These are all the discussions that we're having as we're kind of on the esports committee. Like, we're just in the start of esports and what Splinterlands is going to be doing in terms of that, and how we're going to shape and guide that discussion. Gap discussions, setting up the quests, distribution of tokens, stuff along those lines. And then another one that I saw most recently, which is great, is that it's being implemented now, is the land committee, right? So there is going to be a land committee, which is great, because I really wanted it to kind of branch off from the reinvestment committee, but there really wasn't enough for us to do right now with our land.
I think
there's no justification for it.
I think it shouldn't be called land committee. I think it should be called lease committee, because I think the lease of land and cards should be under that committee. So I prefer something along those lines. Perhaps we don't want to call it lease. Perhaps we want to call it something else. But yeah.
Well, I think in terms of the actual leasing, I think that's going to fall under the token committee, right? The YGG SPL committee, because at the end of the day, something's got to be built. Like some
Yes.
programmer has to come along and like we have to either hire or build whatever is going to be used for us to stake and delegate these assets, right?
There's also a discussion that the programming has already been written in the form of something else. Look at Rooney, right? So the coding to do essentially this is
right
there, right? So it can really be copied and pasted, and maybe the names can be changed to something we want, right? You know, YGG Guild member Dragons, this guy with this wallet, you know, or this badge gets to play with this deck. Delegate. There you go.
Exactly. And so that's kind of I think that'll fall under the scope of the YGG SPL token committee, right? The community token committee. I think the land committee specifically is more going to focus in the optimizations, because like there's a couple things that need to be decided here soon, right? Is when are we revealing? What plots are we trying to land in? What spot on the map are we trying to land in? How is that going to be communicated to the guild? Like, what is that going to look like going into? And then from there, then there's going to be like a lot of the cross, like how much of it is going to go back into like reinvestment? How much of it is going to be leased? Like how much are our cards going to work these? And like these are all the discussions that I think the land committee needs to figure out, because we also like we just got so much, you know, we've got so much, and I have no idea how we're going to work that. So a committee definitely needs to like hash out what that's going to look like. So but very exciting. So one, this is a plea. If you are in a YGG guild in Splinterlands, join the Discord. Be a part of the community. Like really be a part of the community, right? Come in, get to know us, talk to us, grow with us. Like this is the best community that I got involved in, and they have propelled my Splinterlands experience tenfold. And it's not exclusive to me. It's open for anybody that wants to come in and be involved, right? So anyway, that was I think that's the big thing happening in YGG SPL right now. We have a Gap Season 2 start, or Gap Season 3 start.
Yes.
When is that? February?
It's sometime. I think we're about 4 weeks out, 4 or 5 weeks out, something like that.
Here we go. Gap Season 3 starting on February 13th. Actually, that's 2 weeks.
That's 2 weeks. That's a lot shorter than what I thought. Okay. All right. Well, which is great. I prefer. In fact, I would prefer if they started so that the new season started immediately after the other season ended. That would be my preference, right? So it's so it runs like a normal year, right? 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, 3 months. I'm okay with that. Why do we need downtime? Is my take on the matter.
Yeah. So then the other thing to pay attention to is like before Gap Season 3, there is going to be a straw poll, and YGG Guild, in order to be an official YGG, has to have 5,000 tokens within its guildmates, right? So that poll will go up to kind of validate where everybody's at. And we do have multiple people with way more YGG SPL than they need to sponsor their own guild, and they are willing to sponsor other guilds as well. So make sure you're in the Discord, make sure you're talking. If you don't have the tokens, you can go get the tokens, or you can, talk to some of the people that have plenty, and see if they'll sponsor you for a season. Right? So that's a big thing. Other than that, the gap, I don't think any of the quests are changing from 2 to 3. We're going to do the same quest. I know on the esports side, we're going to do the same quest. I've proposed that. Go ahead.
Could you answer me a question in regards to this overall leaderboard thing? Because I don't really get it, right? Why does there need to be an overall leaderboard? Why can't it just be bronze has their leaderboard, silver has their leaderboard, gold has their leaderboard, diamond has their leaderboard, finished story? Why does there need to be an overall leaderboard?
I think the overall leaderboard was just to drive competition and community between the leagues, right?
Okay.
So that way, like, it puts, like, instead of OlordO being in gold doing his own thing and like just winning his tournaments, he's in direct competition with me, also in my league winning my tournaments, and Professor Chaos in his league winning his tournaments. Like, even though we don't see each other in tournaments, we're still actively competing against each other. So that was the heart. That was the heart behind it, right? And it was proposed there, like, this was something that I brought up at the end of the last one, was like, maybe we do just have the 4 leaderboards, take like, we just take the main leaderboard out, do 4 leaderboards, and chop the tokens 25% each, like 25% in bronze, 25% in silver, and then that's the leaderboards that everybody kind of plays for, right? So the diamonds are playing for 25% of theirs, and golds, whatever. And yeah, it would just be locked like that, because we have the ability to filter the spreadsheet that way, because that's how we were doing the Masters Award, right? The Masters Award for the bronze, silver, gold, and diamond Masters. So, and that'll also be one of the other functions of the esport committee, is I would like to, during the course of the season, have hashed out and planned, so at end of season we have a draft ready for proposal on changes that need to be made right away, so it's done in a timely fashion. Because I remember I brought it up, little discussion, and then all of a sudden Mike kind of jumps in our Discord, Mike from YGG, and he's like, hey, what's the esports quest this time? It's due tomorrow. And I'm like, well, well, I guess we're just going to do what we did again, and we'll make sure we get back with you next time if we're going to make any changes in a timely fashion. So that's honestly why we're at where we're at this season. I kind of agree with you, Damour. I think that there is logic to have just the 3 leaderboards, because playing
for the Y3,
yeah, just the four leaderboards. I think that will be something that we'll hash out in this season with the esports committee. We'll try to figure out exactly how we want to work that in the next one. But one of the things I did propose was potentially having the prize for the masters, like the prize for the master quest, right, to be the top of the leaderboard in bronze, gold, silver, and diamond, is to actually win a jersey, right? So like a real, like this, you can mint a jersey, get your name on it, get your league on it. And so I proposed that to Mike. I was like, what if, instead of tokens, what if we offered like minting a jersey as a real prize for the top league performers,
the top 5 or whatever, something like that, on the overall the master league, or whatever, the
master ones,
the one to rule them all.
But yeah, it was just something that, because when I proposed the jerseys, that was one of the things that I had imagined, was that the jersey could also be a prize for some of the esports stuff, because at the end of the day, if you're performing well in that environment, if you're performing well in the SPS tournaments, if you're top in the leaderboards within YGG, then odds are when we get to the point where we're having regular in-person tournaments, odds are you're probably going to perform well there, right? Like success carries over for the most part. And so to have those people already equipped with jerseys, I think would go a long way for just presence and being at these events. Like we had a very big team picture at Splinterfest. Lots of YGG people with the team in a picture, and it'd have been nice if we were all in jerseys.
Oh yeah, I would stand out for sure. It would get noticed for sure. Definitely.
But yeah, so I think that's everything. Everything YGG SPL. What's Virus saying here? They never did mention in the town hall about being able to let others work your land. Yeah, I'm honestly, his whole talk, we can actually probably go there first. Let's kind of talk about.
Do we want to give Tails an opportunity to say something? I think you've
no,
said
not at all. Tails is I said this last time. Tails is literally there for the thumbnail.
Right.
So that everybody clicks because they're like, this is a Tails show. It's not a Tails show. Tails for the thumbnail. I can literally, he's not even here. I just stole this image and I gave it to my wife, who's upstairs logged in with this name. Like, this isn't even Tails.
Deep faked it.
Tails, can you actually, I think I've turned you up the most that I can on my end, but you actually still sound pretty quiet in my headphones.
Really? Okay, well, let me talk louder then. I'm not sure.
You're fine. You're fine
for the volume.
You're fine.
All right. It's just Rogue. He's been going to too many concerts.
So I am a loudspeaker.
No, I think the only thing I would add to the conversation there with the YGG sub-DAO there, SPL sub-DAO, is that, it's kind of indicative of the entire Splinterlands community and activity right now, in that not only just participating in the community is it almost like a full-time job right now, but just consuming the content with all the changes is also as a player. Like, if you weren't even a content creator or a committee member or anything like that, if you're just trying to keep up with the game, there's a lot going on in the game. If you haven't noticed,
there's a ton going on. Too much.
There's a ton. I mean, if you look at what's going on in Splinterlands with all the changes that have happened just in the last week that just got unleashed upon us, which I'm sure we're going to talk about some of those today with the Astral Entity and Soulbound reward cards and rule sets and yada, yada, yada. But I mean, take all that and just push off to the side and say, let's say none of that even happened. I mean, we've got Tower Defense Beta coming up. We've got GLG, T being minted here in like a week. So GLG having things change pretty quickly there. Then you got stuff going on in the community just around things like Splinter Forge. And then there's just a lot of moving parts. So even if you're not necessarily dialed in completely, just as a player, I mean, you can just be overwhelmed by everything that's going on right now.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I kind of told some of the other leaders in the chat today. I got dinged, and it was just like, yeah, we'll see what waiting. And they tagged 5 or 6 people, and we'll see what they think, and they weigh in. And I was blunt. I was really honest. I was like, guys, this is a text wall. I'm not spending 2 hours catching up on this. But luckily they had a summary already kind of updated at the very top, and they were like, just go read this and that'll cover it up. And I'm like, perfect. And I was like, yeah. So we do have some people that are doing a really good job of summarizing, because if you are just, it's sometimes it almost gets like a Mav chat where you're just it's so long and text is all over the place, and you're just like, I'm never catching up on this.
Sometimes there's horrible fights to deal with and wade through, right? Bullets being shot from this way to that way. It gets rough sometimes.
And we didn't even talk about the other thing that's added a tremendous amount of, let's say, research or noise or conversation, and that's the player-based proposals, right? I mean, we've had how many either pre-proposals or proposals that have been submitted formally in just the last 10 days. It's a lot to keep up with. And so I mean, it's all good news, honestly. I mean, as long
Well,
as you can keep up.
well, so I wouldn't say all of it is good news, but most of it is good news. Certainly.
Yeah. I'd rather have an active and vibrant community with lots of discussion and
Yes.
things than a completely dead space with no development, no activity, no excitement, right?
That's a sad state of affairs. You don't want that. That's a sign of a dead game, not a sign of a game that is going to succeed and flourish. So yeah,
we got Luke. We got Rogue 2.0 in the chat. Why isn't he in the sandwich here with us?
I know, right?
He was invited. He's there. He has visibility of the link. All he needs to do is click, and he can join. So I'm not sure why. Hint, hint.
Yeah, man. It's Web3. Why don't you just click links? Like,
what's
click
up
the
with
link,
that,
bro?
Just click and give me all of your coins. No problem.
Make dinner first. There you go. Can't have a hangry krill. Like,
we gotta eat food.
You need a well-fed krill, or else.
Chill brew. Did I say that right with the right accent?
Not exactly.
That is actually the first I heard that accent, and I love it. It's actually
okay.
Bruh.
Bra. Oh, okay. It's a bra. Chill bra.
My krill tummy needs a whale meal. Goodness gracious.
If a krill ate as much as a whale, he would be dead.
So that's an interesting topic as well. A good segue from Rogue 2.0 there is that,
I love it.
how I'm curious to see the numbers for this last season.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like, to me, there are a lot of gaming whales in Splinterlands these days. And when I say gaming whales, I mean, there's a whole lot of people playing in Champion these days. Like probably 4 or 5, maybe even more times that amount than that were playing in Champion a month ago.
Which is what I was hoping to happen, right? Or I think what we wanted to happen. We want more people to either rent cards to play at the Champion level or to own cards to play at the Champion level. If, however, we're dealing with bronze accounts playing at the Champion level somehow through botting or something like that, then I'm not for it. Then I think it's a very bad thing.
At the end of the day, this is one of those things that I kind of predicted would happen. Is like the bots would just move together. If you move all the prizes up, they'll just move together up, and like that's where you see rating inflation happen. Is they just end up playing each other, and it's like they don't. I would argue that right now there are people playing in Diamond and Champ without Diamond and Champ decks. They just have couple meta splinters, and that's all that they need at the end of the day, because there's enough bots playing right now. And that's something that I noticed when I was playing Luthien's account, seeing the same teams so much. So
they're
much.
spamming.
It was just
it's easy to beat them then.
Oh yeah, I mean it is, but then when they're all just playing each other, like, that's, and when I was playing that account, like I got into Champion halfway through the season, maybe, and there was already like 120 plus people in Champion, and then when I got to Champion, all my wins came easier than they did in the upper diamond.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't because once you get to Champion, then you're low Champion, and you're playing people that already kind of just made it sooner, and so when you get a win against those, you get more rewards, or you get more rating than you do in losses
really quickly.
Yeah, so like when you're in, like, you can still have that 50% win rate, but your losses aren't losing you as much rating as your wins are gaining you, where it's the opposite when you're in upper diamond.
Yes.
When you're in upper diamond, odds are you're playing some lower diamonds, so losses oftentimes will take more rating than your wins. So yeah, just crossing that threshold, I never, as soon as I crossed into Champion, I didn't drop back to diamond at all. I never played on that line, and yeah, I just noticed that the level of play didn't change. The level of play didn't change when I transitioned from diamond to Champion. It was the same people. We were just all crossing the threshold at different times, But by the end of the season, everybody was there,
So, Rogue, can I drop some data and some facts for you to spin on?
Amen, brother.
So, my theory on this, and the reason why we're seeing such inflation at the champion level, and like you said, the quality of play or the decks aren't getting better between diamond and champion, is simply numbers. If you look at the numbers of battles between now and let's say a month ago, it's doubled. And
It's doubled?
it's gone from 4 million a day to over 6 million a day.
Wow.
And what happens when you double the battles? You double the rating inflation. And why are we doing more battles, especially at the champion and diamond level? It's because a lot of people are botting their accounts. And the difference between an Archmage bot or an X bot that runs a battle, 4 battles, an hour, and keeping it above 50%, ECR, the difference in the number of battles in a season between a human player and a bot player is significant. Like as a human
100%.
player, like you or I might run 200 battles a season if we're pushing it as a human to get into champion. Bot players are usually running 600 or more battles if they leave it on pretty much all season long. So what we're seeing is a tremendous amount of bot play, which leads to increased battles, which leads to increased rating inflation, which leads to more and more players playing at higher levels of the game, not because they have decks or skill, but just because they have numbers on their side. And I think this goes to an important point because I think it's something that the team needs to look at potentially as something to adjust because I just think it's not necessarily great to have that number of battles increased by 50% due to the community behavior and not adjust either prize pools or gates or anything like that. Because at the end of the day, to Damour's point, we want people playing at the highest levels of the game. But if the highest levels of the game are just watered down lower levels of the game that were the previous examples, then we need to address that.
Yeah, it's not working as intended. It's not having the desired effect on our economy, right? There's extraction happening. There isn't investment happening, and that is issues.
Does SPS staking change any of this? Like, if SPS staking is the gate?
I think it's part of the solution. I don't think it's the entire solution.
It can help because if you look at SPS, let's just say, for example, that SPS staking requirements for tournaments were applied to ranked battles.
Yeah.
If you had to have the same amount of SPS staked in a diamond or champion level tournament as in to get into the diamond or champion level league, it may gate some of those bot accounts from getting to that level. Because right now, let's just be honest, CP is a joke. Modern CP is a joke for the higher levels of the game. It's not what it used to be, especially with the pricing of cards over the last couple months. So I think to Damour's point, it would help. Will be the answer? Maybe not, but it definitely would reduce to some degree.
Just a segue here. Hello, Luke. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
That's not Luke. Hold on. That's Damour Tales of a Rogue Krill.
Damour Tales
Love it.
Krill. So including everybody, we are that the rainbow flag here. We
Whoa.
An inclusive show.
An inclusive show, including everybody.
My flag.
Damour made a funny point about not having a need to invest. Well, with these soulbound cards, why would I buy cards anymore, guys? I got all I need.
So there you go.
Getting summoners now, getting free cards.
There you go. Looks and
you don't want to go there, Luke, because I'm going to go off on a spicy tangent. If you go to that, Rogue's already got the preview of that discussion.
Hey,
I was about to say, I was like, did you have a conversation with him too? Like, is he poking you on purpose? Like, is that?
No. I made a video today where I said positive things about Splinterlands.
Oh, really? Wow! You said something positive. Okay, let's go.
Was it sponsored?
Let's hear it.
Was it?
Well, I don't want to spoil it for
you
people that are going to watch it tomorrow.
Well,
do your video right here.
Drop
Like,
the
give
link.
us all the
Drop
credit.
The link.
I need that 3 cents of YouTube ad revenue. You know how important that
Drop
is?
the link. Drop the link.
Man, you're a
Think about how
baller.
many
You get
gargoyle
3
lions I
cents?
could buy.
That's a Pellicore bandit.
Yeah,
go.
it's 3 lions, bro.
3 lions. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean,
Thanks, YouTube.
yeah, I'll give some alpha here. I'll spoil.
Okay.
I mean,
I'll tell
essentially
you what.
all I
Look
said
at these. Look at this
was
drop.
that
Ooh,
I had that
ooh,
huge rant video, a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And basically the criticism was that they aren't focusing on gameplay at all. It's been super stale for a year plus.
And I was with you.
And I just applauded them and said, I feel like with the rule sets and the 3 rule sets, yeah, they need to be tweaked, but they're at least adding stuff.
Yeah.
The soulbound cards, I enjoy them more because I feel like I'm actually having fun and progressing in the game when I'm opening them, instead of like,
Me too.
well, I already bought all my reward cards to get to diamond level, and now all those, what do I do with those reward cards? Nothing. I just throw them up on the rental market for 0.1 DEC, and no one wants them anyway. So like, now I feel like I'm actually
why our servers crash. Knock it off.
Yeah. So I'm sure Tails has a ton to rant about the economy, and you can go for it, Tails. I'm just saying I'm enjoying the gameplay.
You're actually enjoying it, and they've added quite a lot of gameplay stuff, and I'm in agreement with you there. They really have lately delivered on the programming side or the developing side of bringing updates to the game we love, right? And that for me is an awesome sign. Awesome sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so.
Go ahead, Tails.
Rogue, sorry. I was just gonna say.
No,
So I agree with Luke. I mean, look, it's good for gamers and gameplay, right? The soulbound like chase aspect of the game brings Web 2 familiar concepts to Splinterlands that encourages repeat, interactions basically, and to continue playing the game, which is fine. And I would go so far as to say, I think the challenge with the economy part of this is that they're too generous with those chase rewards, and that is the problem.
Could be.
Could
be the
could
problem.
be. Like, we need to see the data, but I will tell you, based on what I'm seeing, I have legitimate concerns, and I don't want to spoil my alpha for my video, Luke, because we're gonna compete, go head to head tomorrow on video.
Come on, spoil for spoil. Come on, Tails.
We need to stop bringing on content creators to more that just coming
they're
in
battling
here,
it out here,
plugging their own videos, just like.
Hey, this is the preview spot. You know when you go to the movies and you watch the previews and they're the best part of the movie? This is it right here. This is the best part of YGG SPL.
Check out my videos. It's BULLDOG 1208. Come enjoy my content.
Okay, there we go. I love it.
Oh my goodness. I love it. That was like the most insulting, like that was great, Tails. That was great. I love that. But honestly, I think this is where I'm watching right here. So yesterday was the lowest battles that we've had in a minute. Like the last end of season would have been about here, where we normally see a drop, and we're well a third, definitely under a half, if not a third of what that was yesterday.
Yeah.
We saw a drop off leading up to the end of season.
So this is the start of the season numbers, right? What was the end of season numbers?
This was yesterday's numbers, right?
Yeah, which was the start of the new season, right? So let's go 2 days ago and then see what was the end season numbers like. What was the amount? Because that looks like a bigger amount to me than before.
Oh yeah, no, it was a big number.
So I think that should be the indication of what type of numbers we're looking at towards the end of the season. I don't like playing at the beginning of the season either, right? So which is why you're looking at low numbers. I prefer to play very few games at the beginning of the season. But that's just me. I don't think it's everybody, but
that's not just you. No, it is everyone.
Okay, all right. Well, there you go.
What's the point of playing? Like when you, for example, I finished in Diamond. Or sorry, on my Scholar account, I finished in Champ, just barely. I get reset to 2,800 rating. And all I get if I play in the first 3 days is sent back to Gold Hell. So, like, why play? Because that's where all the OP cards are right now. I was just like,
I'll
wait
tell you
5
what.
days.
I just did a video yesterday. I did a little live thing where I walked through bronze, and I was totally expecting one thing, and I saw another, and I'm
What did you
actually
see?
really curious about that.
I
On
wanted
day
to-
one of the new season,
Yeah.
every bot that I played on my walkout of bronze was
Yeah.
only level 1 cards.
Okay. So the moment
Like,
you
all
get
the way up to silver
maxed
rating.
up summoner and maxed out monsters, you win. Doesn't matter what you bring, really.
It felt that way, but like I was actually shocked. I was shocked that all the bots up to silver were only level 1. Like,
Okay.
and they weren't even playing as good as the last time that I was down there. Last time I was down there was after I played the Luthien account, and they were all performing way better last time. And now they were just terrible.
So
And I got an hour and a half of coverage to prove it.
That's a good sign for new players to me, right? Because I used to struggle to get out of bronze, even with a maxed out deck, right? It used to be difficult. If now it's easy mode, I love it, actually.
Yeah, and I was kind of there too, but it made me think. It was like, okay, where did they all go? Like, if this is what the top of bronze looks like, if this is what the bronze that isn't moved on to silver looks like, is that really just what we had? Is that like all of the normal bronze bots are pushed up into silver at this point? Top silver, maybe going, like, how far are they going at this point? Because
I hear you.
I was shocked. I was shocked at the low quality of bots in bronze yesterday. And yeah, I don't know exactly kind of how to feel about that right now.
Just wait a year until they have all the soulbound summoners. And if you're starting a massive bot farm now, in a year you'll be in champ with all those, right? So, like, just
I don't know. That's where we gotta, like, that's where Tails and I differ a little bit in this one. Like, his point is 100% valid. I get it, and I'm totally in agreement that at this point they printed a set of reward cards that's a full set, and you can just own these cards and play the game of Splinterlands, which I don't think should have happened at all. Right? They should not have printed a full set of reward cards. If they do follow through on this 2-year print run, yeah, maybe that is, like, maybe we will kind of cross that when we get there. But I'm looking for the first season's data, because I'm gonna, like, take a look at my chests and my averages, and I'm gonna just put some numbers to it. It's like, end of season, this is where we're at, this is how much I got. At the end of season, is there still a card that I didn't receive a single copy of? Right? Because if there's a card I didn't receive a single copy of, there's only 24 seasons in a year.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming if you're in bronze, you're going to be getting hardly any at a time,
Singles.
right? Like, in champion, my chest had 6 gold foil summoners, and I was like, sweet, I already got that to silver. But at the same time, how likely is it I'm going to get another gold foil rare summoner anytime?
Well, it's only just one day, Luke. It's only one day. There's a lot of days in the year.
Exactly. But, like, to double up on that summoner in gold foil in multiple copies, like, to max that out, he's got to be 22.
It's numbers, guys. It's numbers. And what's the advantage that bots have? Numbers and time. Numbers and time.
They always give more.
They will play the numbers. They will play the time. And what they're going to do is they're going to have a deck that's going to print SPS forevermore, and they're going to dump the crap out of that SPS on the market forevermore.
It's the only way value out of the game.
This is what. Hey, I'm gonna call it right now. Unless changes are put in place in the game, this is the beginning of the end. I'm calling it.
Whoa. Some deep alpha there.
You think DEC SPS airdrop rewards was a mistake for Splinterlands? Got nothing on this.
So this is the problem. They're always going to be screwed no matter what they do, though, right? Like,
unless they go back to the problem, fix the problem.
Well, sure. The bot farm is a whole other discussion, but I'm just saying in general, the more stuff they do to help onboard or get that gamer mentality of being able to progress and not put in as much money, you're essentially just screwing over those people who are here expecting all the assets to go up. So it's like those things are usually, they can work together if you're getting it in a ton of new players, right? Then it's all boats are rising. But unless you're doing that, those things are kind of in tension with each other in a lot of ways.
Yeah, look at the number of new spell books. You're getting like 7 to 10 new players a day, which, you know, over the course of a year, maybe it's 4,000 players, but yeah, maybe it's bots. But we're not ramping up new players based on this new player experience, and that's the problem.
Not yet. Yeah, and the players that are there are not leveling up, or the bots that are there are not leveling up. Again, you know, they are just selling.
They're renting.
They're just selling, renting and selling, renting and selling, renting and selling. And that,
I mean, I can see the argument now seeing kind of the way the rental market is and the way that the bots are kind of using it and playing in Champion right now. I can actually, like, I can see the argument now that Chaos Legion was overprinted and that there are plenty of those cards.
Can you say that a little louder? I'm gonna record that.
Rogue, stop it, Tails. Stop it. You go walk away. But yeah, I can I mean, I can definitely see that there's an imbalance at this point, and it's mainly because of the rental market, right? So
so you're saying the rental market is to blame for our conundrum?
Well, the rental market will lead to the unlimited printing of these accounts that can compete at the highest levels of the game, which will lead to indefinite SPS minting, which is the whole point of the ghost reward cards going away. The problem is you can't take away reward cards that are soulbound that you've given to the player base in good faith. This is the genie, the once out of the bottle, can't be put back. So you've got the rental market exasperating the current trending of basically printing free champion level decks here, because you can rent a champion or diamond level deck and free roll that into this free champion level soulbound reward card deck, because you can rent out, because the rental market prices are so cheap, you can rent out a deck to play at the highest levels to get those 7 gold foil drops on a daily basis today, and it pays for itself. Literally, the SPS rewards that you would get by playing today would pay for your rentals for today and tomorrow. So there's no reason why bot farms, you know, Crowmancer, Damourmancer, Roguemancer, and Botmancer can't just spin up everything right now, and literally a year from now, all of us will kill the game because we'll all be printing our own SPS at the highest levels of the game. And what are we going to do with that SPS? Well, because it's the only thing we're earning, we're probably going to sell it, and it's going to drive the price of SPS into the ground. Now, that's in a vacuum. Obviously, when if the flywheel kicks in and we're burning more DEC and all that other stuff, that can impact the economy, right? So I don't want to discount that. What I'm saying is every good thing that the design team is trying to put in place with DEC sinks and voucher sinks and other things to try and get this flywheel into motion, you just basically blew up like 2 years of that flywheel by just releasing this soulbound reward cards. And why did you release soulbound reward cards? You release soulbound reward cards to fight bots, but in fact, bots are going to use this to break the game.
Yeah.
Well, first of all,
can
we need some hopium here, guys. We need some hopium here.
All right. First of all,
someone dial up Doyden.
Can we just agree we need a flywheel meme? Like someone who can make us like the amount of times I hear the damn word flywheel is
I got it.
Insane. Okay.
There you go.
You haven't seen my Twitter, Luke. I've got the flywheel meme. I'm gonna retweet my flywheel meme to you on Twitter right now.
Okay, thank you.
All right, hold on. Yeah, let's go to Twitter.
I think though, the ironic thing is that like what they're doing is helpful for a player experience, but because you have bot farms that can take advantage of that, that's my issue, right? It's like I'm fine with someone running like 5 or 6 bots, but I am very sick of playing Shard and Chung Till and Archmage bots 80% of my matches.
Yeah, it's not fun, and the issue is the fact that they are extracting and putting selling pressure on a coin that we want to go up. And if there's continuous selling pressure, the only way it can go is down, sadly. and that is a really big failure in the system.
What do you mean a pump to 3 cents? We're going to the moon.
I tell you what, like honestly, the movement of the market right now has actually kind of pissed me off a little bit. Tails, you gonna do this? Like I'm literally on Twitter, just stalking your profile.
Find it. I have so much great content on Twitter. I gotta find my.
I have to find it. You are like very active on Twitter. I do like one post or two a week.
I have a Twitter account. I think I've once upon a time I posted on it.
Keep it really chill.
Yeah,
but yeah, so there's a couple things to combat Tails' situation here. Is one, you know, exactly how many cards are we gonna get in a season? Like those are the numbers that I'm most looking forward to kind of seeing play out here. Let's go ahead, buddy.
I'm still for the proposal that Tails originally suggested, and I think the only way we're going to get it implemented as a community is by making it a proposal and forcing the dev team to do something. Create a whitelist where we have certain things that can access the API, a whitelist of people or accounts, and you need to ask permission to get there. Simple as
Matt
that.
specifically called out that the API solution is not a real solution. He addressed that in the last.
Here's what I would say to that, Rogue, though, is it's easy to dismiss from a technology perspective that that can't be done today with the way the code is written. But here's my counterpoint to that. And my point here is we need to have an in-depth discussion with Matt or the development team to talk about a potential solution. Because here's the thing is, you know, what Matt said is the API is such that anyone can use it and submit it from anywhere, and there's no way to differentiate where it came from or who's using it. And I say that's fundamentally flawed from a technology perspective, because if that were the case, if that were true, then we wouldn't have any secure B2B type of marketplaces or secure interfaces for corporations to use. There's a lot of B2B marketplaces that have APIs, but there's security around them. They know who's using the API. They know who's authenticated. They know the source location and the credentials of the submission. I understand for a generally available website that you know is something that doesn't exist maybe in Splinterlands today, but that doesn't mean it can't be secured and implemented in the future from a protocol perspective. If basically you're saying that in the world of the internet and Web 2 or Web 3 or whatever, I mean, Luke, Luke's been doing development now. He's a game developer as of a couple of weeks ago. He can tell you. I mean, there is.
Oh, he's chat GPTing, right? Left, right, and center. Okay.
But there are methods for API that you can authenticate, secure, and understand where the data is coming from. Because if it wasn't, how could the government, transact securely? How could, corporations do that securely with their vendors?
Right? Like that takes because like the big thing that they said is like, yeah, we could do something like this, but it takes a group of people to decide.
Absolutely.
This is yes, this is no.
Well, not only does it take people to decide, so yes, understood that you can have filtering and you can have basically ways to either whitelist or blacklist users of an API, and you would need some remediation, right? You would need someone to say, if there are cases where there's a false trigger of a blacklist of an API call, for example, you would need someone to review that. Honestly, that should be Splinterlands support, because it should be part of the terms and service of using Splinterlands game. But that being said, if it wasn't Splinterlands support and they didn't want to staff up for that for whatever reason, you could have it delegated to a DAO. You could have a elected DAO group that is responsible for going through those cases and presenting their findings, and essentially just like we have judges and stuff like that in the real world, we could have that funded by the DAO. The point is it can be done. The question is Matt's gone on record and said he's not for it. He doesn't want to do this.
Yeah.
There's no incentive for him to investigate this or put any effort into doing it necessarily. Which, okay, that's fine, but again,
putting your head in the sand doesn't help anybody, I'm afraid. That's kind of how I'm seeing it. So, I hear your disagreement, Matt. Fine. I still want to propose it as a community. That's my take on the matter in any way.
Yeah, and then I guess the second point that I kind of want to make on this is I'm not convinced that these reward cards are actually like full enough or like good enough to be competitive. But I guess the only like by themselves, right? You would still need to support them with other cards, and if you're if you're playing at champion with these cards, then you need to support them with champion cards. Like, I think that could go a long way, but the system right now is already proving that you don't need a lot of rentals to make that work. So then just adding to it, you're just adding more weapons into a machine that is already doing fine.
I think that's partly why
so I can see that.
One of the answers is the reworking of the entire ranking system, right? Which they've talked about. Like that's one of the biggest pain points, right? Is like that you can just get the rating inflation, work your way up to diamond and champion with freaking silver level cards.
Yeah.
And it's like, well,
Really?
that's part of the
I keep hearing people say people do this, but I can't get into champ with my gold level deck. How the hell are they getting into champion with silver level decks? I don't understand it.
Well,
Why
I get
am I
into
finding
diamond.
it so hard? What am I doing
diamond
wrong?
with a silver level deck, but it's my bot. It's not me. I don't have the patience to play a half-assed deck in a league I have no business being in. I'll let my bot do that.
Okay. Man, I should get myself a bot clearly and just have the bot play. It's going to do a better job than what I do. Is that what you're telling me?
I will be toning down my bot this season.
Oh.
And this can kind of circle back to what Damour Tales of a Rogue Krill was saying is, the 3 rule sets and the new rule sets that they've added have actually added a depth to the game that favors the diverse card owner.
Yes.
Way more than it ever has in the past. And like, it literally calls out to me. I've been on record for a year saying I need to own every card max level for the league I'm playing in.
This demonstrates
and
it
now
clearly.
They are building the game to support me because when they pigeonhole you into the worst flipping rule sets, like, and they're just like, it's only
like,
range, return
you have
fire,
to play range.
and even Stevens.
Yeah, it's like, what?
Right, and there's 2 cards to play. Literally, like, I've had scenarios where there's 2 or 3 cards to play.
Well, I've been down to like 5 or so, and that's like a low count for me. But I have splinters where I have like 10 cards available, which is great, right? So that's a little bit more choice.
I mean, might as well let's just put in 10 rule sets to each match.
Let's do it. I say go.
You get one card. You get one card. Play your one card. See if you win.
Yeah.
Pick one card.
Good luck. Do you have a legendary? I've got one.
It's pretty much just like playing War with a deck of cards. You flip over, you see if you got an ace versus a 10.
I feel like
higher card
wasn't
wins.
this at Splinterfest? Didn't they call this mana? It was like mana something, mana flood. Yeah, it was a card game that they developed, and it was just like a kind of like a playing card deck, almost like a war style game.
Okay.
You think we were rich enough to go to Splinterfest, Rogue? Come on, that's
right.
Money.
So
hey, I tell you what, in this last year, I have positioned myself into some amazing opportunities, and Rooney was one of them. Lux Vega was 100% one of them.
I'm sad that I missed
to
Lux.
Do that.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm sad that I missed Lux.
Splinterfest was part of Lux, but was also amazing. And then I've comfortably been able to get all the airdrops going forward here. And all of this is because I didn't overcommit to building my deck from silver to gold. Like, that's a $3,000 jump. So at any moment when you're trying to like just do that, you're tying up that capital in the in-between. And because I never did that, I had that capital for when stuff like this happens, you know, and stuff comes up and I need to reallocate. So huge message to everyone. Like, I'm not a champion player, but because of the decisions like I've made at this point, I've been able to take advantage of opportunities that I've been here for. So like Lux Vega has completely changed my deck strategy, abilities, everything, right? And it was just because I was available for that opportunity. So yeah, please do that, guys. Anyway, that was a side note. But yeah, I'm actually going to be playing. I'm going to be playing in Modern more. I'm going to try to chase the leaderboard and see, you know, what it's like to actually play again. Because like the tournaments are pretty fun. I'm enjoying the 3 rule sets, and I think I'm ready to jump back into ranked for a little bit with these and see if it changed at all, you know, or if it's still the same old ranked, you know. But yeah, what about you guys?
Look, I play ranked on the daily. I try and get as many chests as I can. I'm maintaining an average dollar earn per season per month, right? Sitting around the $50 mark, you know, give or take, per month of earnings.
Nice.
And I'm happy. And this is playing in gold, ending in diamond. So I play in gold most of the season, and then towards the end of the season, I reach diamond level. Like I said, I haven't been able to reach champion level with my gold level deck. It's very hard for me to. I did reach diamond 2 last season, right? So I managed to get to diamond 2. So the middle of diamond with my gold deck. But I can't say that I'm close to, you know, piercing diamond 1 or champion. I'm very, very far away from that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think one of these. What if rating was kind of tied to ECR as well? Like that would make sense, right?
What do you mean?
Like, because right now rating
another layer of ECR control in through rating. Okay.
Yeah, because like rewards are kind of tied into that, but that doesn't stop the accounts from just torpedoing up to champion. Because like, who cares if you're making 25% rewards if you're in champion? Champion is like 5x what diamond is, you know. So like, part of me wonders if like rating inflation could be curved with just.
I like the idea, combining it somehow with ECR, so decreasing their ability to earn. I like
to gain rating. Right?
To gain rating at the same time as their earnings, you know, because the reward shares also go down with the ECR currently, right? So
yeah, I don't think I've ever had any conversations with anybody on like potential rating inflation issues. Like, keep the bots. Bots are going to stay. They're in Splinterlands forever.
That has always been
how
my
do we
take,
handle
right?
rating inflation?
Well, which is one issue of the bots. Which is one issue of the bots. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like part of the problem is just like the system isn't good in general. Like, there's so many like win streak bonuses and the ratings don't make sense. Like, I think there's pain points for players too, not just there's issues with bots. Like, it's annoying for me as a player to be like, well, someone had relatively the same deck as me, but they were 200 rating less than me, so I lost a bunch of rating. And then I beat someone who had the same exact deck that I just lost to you that had 10 more rating than me. I only gained half my rating back. Like, there's just things like that. They're like, why? You know?
So what if it was just really simple? Like there were no win streak bonuses. You're always playing somebody in your league, and you just have to win. Like it's the same amount of rating you get, and the same amount of rating you lose. Maybe like so it would be you'd gain more rating than you lose in bronze, In silver, maybe it'd be equal. Maybe in gold, you have to, like, you would just establish a threshold for each league, right? So, like, you can move out of silver if you're above a 50% win rate. You can move out of gold if you're above a 60% win rate. You can move out of diamond if you're above a 70% win rate. You know, like, have the ratings set up in that way. But I guess because that's something that like a Gods Unchained does in terms of how they move through their leagues, but the deck that you're playing with doesn't change whether or not you're playing in the top leagues or the bottom leagues. You know, you can literally play with the exact same deck, the same cards. They don't change. So that's an aspect of Splinterlands that I don't know how that can tie in with this concept of you just have to be a better player to move on, because realistically each league is different.
I mean, why? And I'm literally just thinking out loud. Is there even a reason to keep the system where you can't play with your higher level cards in a lower league? Because if you can play a diamond card and you're stuck in silver, well, guess what? You're going to just keep smashing your way to diamond soon anyways. Like, one of the pain points for me of why I said earlier why I don't play in the first few days is because I know I'm going to fall back down to gold, where my scholarship deck is now weaker because I have only a certain amount of cards in diamond, and now more people have these gold level cards that I don't have. So it becomes a mess now every time I drop back down to gold. It's not like a fun experience for me. Like, it's annoying. Like, I just don't want to do it.
I like this concept. So you just don't have, like, you can still have leagues, but like,
yeah, I mean, like, what is like lowering your card level do when you like? What is the actual like benefit of the system that we have now? I don't know.
Proof
you're right. I mean,
you're
honestly, you're
investing
100% right.
and you have the ability to reach the next goal or higher level up. That was Aggie intended behind this, I suppose. And
yeah,
I am paraphrasing. It's not his exact words, but it's something along those lines.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Take all the barriers away. That would be really interesting. But then, yeah, what would you do? Like, do you still have win streak bonuses? Do you, like, what is the rating?
I don't know. I'm sure Tails can just poke a bunch of holes in my argument. So let's just let Tails figure it out.
He's writing all of his thoughts down, making his other video out of this content.
Are you still there, Tails?
No, it's just a picture, guys. He's not really here. He's not really here.
Okay, you're there.
Botmancer was subbed in there. Yeah, I mean, it's something to look at for sure. I mean, it's something I have to look at and I guess get back to you on.
You stumped him.
Woo! No. I gotta be honest with you. I was actually farming Soul Bond reward cards there for a minute. So.
Oh, aren't we all?
He was thinking teams. He wasn't even listening to you, Luke.
I mean, bro, I can at least pay attention while I'm farming. Jeez.
Pretend to listen.
Whatever, Rogue. We know you just turn your bot on. That's your farming. Come on, man.
Dude, amen. Like, he's been going this whole time since Splinterfest. My bot hasn't turned off, and I'm happier for it. Absolutely happier for it. But
I don't care enough to fix it, so you guys can propose it if you want. I'm just spitballing.
I'm also like I'm with you. I like the idea. I actually really like that idea. Like, just create a whole new system, and like whatever your deck is, that's your deck. You don't have to play at lesser than, by, like, you've already put the money in. You've been playing at that level forever. Like, tournaments can do that still. Like, that's fine. You could still do like capped tournaments where and I think that would still be fine. But yeah, in ranked, you're right. I don't think I see a reason for.
So you should be very happy with that, Luke. I don't think there's one idea I've ever pitched to Rogue that he's actually liked. So this was a stellar idea.
This was
there's no way that any of what I just said is wrong. I mean, I can't. Yeah, it's my ideas off the top of my head where I haven't thought about, put zero thought into it. There's no way it could be wrong.
Oh, right. That sounds about right.
Yeah, but I could I could definitely see I could definitely just see a system set up at base level. You shouldn't be able to have a 50% win rate and progress.
Yeah.
Period. It's not a thing. Not a thing.
Not in any other game I can think of. I can't think of any other game that I've played that you're 50% player and you're climbing the ranks.
Yep. Yeah, I can't think of it either. And because there's no incentive to be more than a 50% win rate unless you're going for leaderboards. And so that the bots don't care. The bots don't need a 70-80% win rate. They're fine just 50%, just battling each other, getting there eventually. Yeah, God, I really like that idea. Was that on the roadmap at all? Anywhere on like rating adjustments?
I thought they had a ranking revamp for like
they did
quarter
too.
2 or 3, but
Tails,
did they ever
post
specify what that meant?
There he is. All right, let's go. Flywheel. Flywheel.
Yes.
Is that the mime? Finally?
That's a good.
That
one
is
right
the SPSDC.
That's the flywheel. I love it.
Is that mean that the flywheel is not working?
Well, it does work for a little bit. Did you see there? It was like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
You're right. 2 seconds, and then no.
The beauty of the GIF is it really does a good job of highlighting that we're gonna keep doing it, even if it fails.
So they're gonna keep trying. I like that. So we'll keep trying.
This is great. I love this.
All right, next step is we need flywheel T-shirts. That's the next step.
Hey, baby, come start my flywheel.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try that on my wife tonight. Be like, hey, babe, I'm gonna start my flywheel.
Want to start my flywheel? Oh my!
She'd be like, you stop doing content. Like
you stop. That's bad.
Get out of here. But no, I think I really like that idea. And I think that would be great along with player staking. I think between those two things, it could go a long way. The fact that there's no difference between Diamond 1, 2, and 3, I think that could easily be adjusted with something like this. You could absolutely split the rewards even further because at this point we have silver, gold, diamond, champ. We've got 12 leagues, not including bronze, that could be chopped up. I'm pretty sure 12 is the magic number that Gods Unchained ended at. So,
I thought you were just gonna say God.
No, that's
12
7,
disciples.
I think. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
But yeah, so isn't the new tower defense literally about saving souls and stuff? Like, let's go. I'm picking up what you're laying down.
Yeah. Last time we did Splinterlands as a church, they're just proving it.
The Church of SPL.
The Church of SPL. Yeah.
Sounds like LDS. Sounds pretty similar.
LSD, ACD, BCD, AFG, just throwing out random letters here. No reason for them. CIA, FBI.
So what do you think some of the consequences would be? Like, let's say the team figures this out, right? They're like, oh, shit, Tails was right. We need to pivot quick. The only pivot that I can think of is stop the print run, and create a smaller reward set after. So can you guys think of a different pivot?
So, yes. Let's gate the soulbound cards behind the new player experience, behind the leveling experience of learning the game, and keep the reward card system as is, and fix the issue. The bots. Well, done.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's that easy.
Oh no! It looks like Aggie banned you.
Decentralization.
I got banned.
I don't know how Aggie got in here. Like I don't like Matt can't tell who's using this. I don't know how he knew to ban you specifically. That's crazy.
Yeah, sure. That's not gonna happen.
Anyway, Tails, what's up?
Well, I mean, I think you would probably want to look at the release rate of the cards. It seems pretty quick, especially if you're saying you might have a 2-year window for the run. And then also you need to probably put some kind of card limit in place. And I know it's counterintuitive because these are soulbound reward cards and they're not supposed to be sold. And if they're sold, it's, there's going to be a fee to unbind them. But when we have an unlimited print run, like, you basically encourage unlimited accounts to farm at that point because there's no limit set forth. So I don't know. I mean, honestly, I think it is perhaps a genie that once it's now live and it's out of the bottle, I don't know how you can contain it, because now you've opened the door or opened the gate for, people to have in good faith these cards forever on their account, and these are summoners on their account. So once you have max level summoners for all the splinters, even if they're not meta, if something's not done with the rating inflation, it doesn't matter. Basically, these bots will never ever have to rent summoners ever again, which cuts down on their costs to farm moving forward. And again, with the large amount of cards available, like you mentioned, it may not be a full team, right? I'm not saying that you could take the current soulbound reward cards and be competitive at champion moving forward, but if now you only need to rent per splinter, let's say, I don't know, 7 to 10 cards per splinter to be competitive in champion, along with those 43 soulbound reward cards that you have maxed on your bot farm, it makes it such that the sustaining cost for your farm is so small moving forward that it's irrelevant.
See, all that makes me happy though, because you're just talking about rental prices going down, and now I get to rent more for less. Let's go.
Right.
Well, it's all fun and games until the SPS is worth as much as an SLP token in Axie, and you have no one playing the game because everything's worthless, because then the game's dead, and we don't want to be in a dead game. So yeah, I mean, obviously more is good until more is not good.
I thought Splinterlands was already dead based off the comments I read like a month ago.
Oh yeah, I mean it's been dead for a minute. Like I'm very familiar with dead games. We're so dead.
Oh really? Okay.
Oh yeah, totally. I'm an expert on dead games. I've been playing dead games for years.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you do it. I'm just a fan of capping bots. Like the fact that people are just running thousands of accounts is pretty absurd.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you do it.
I think we've actually proposed quite a few good solutions here. I think for sure combining SPS staking and actually breaking out a system to where a 50% win rate can't get you like anywhere. Like I think those will actually go a really long way. A really long way.
I mean, what I'm interested in, Luke, you bring in a unique perspective because you're, essentially kind of an
video game
expert
programmer.
in, well, not only that, but he's also an expert in the Web3 gaming space, right? Not just in Splinterlands, but across the sector and the industry. So understanding how other games and companies are tackling this issue, obviously Splinterlands is unique because they've come out and said that we don't want to tackle this issue. That's our stance. But how are other companies now? Now, granted, a lot of these other companies aren't live and don't have full ecosystems in place right now. But what are other ideas you're seeing in the space?
Hold on, real quick. I want to pause and add a sprinkle of like that a boy on there. Like this man, a year and a half ago, was working for a church and jumped into this space and just grabbed the bull by the horns in the craziest market and built himself this position to where he was just called an expert in the Web3 space.
You know why?
Congratulations, big guy.
Well, first of all, thank you, and secondly, the reason why is because there's hardly anyone in this field.
Right? So few of us. Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, you make a good point, Tails. Like a lot of the games, this is what I say all the time. Is like we want to criticize Splinterlands and say, look at this game, but the fact is, anything sounds good on a piece of white paper. You know, anything sounds great on your website, but
it's the reality.
Until you're dealing with this stuff live, man, it's so easy. So,
it's a different beast.
I do think that perspective is good. Of like, it's easy to throw out answers, but like the fact that it's live is so much harder to deal with. I would say a lot of the industry is just so different than Splinterlands. I think what things have moved towards is that play to earn is more a niche within Web3 or NFT gaming. And I think a lot more games are starting to go a route of we don't want to mess with tokens at all, or we want to focus on NFTs just being cosmetic and make it more of that kind of Web2 game with some additional NFT features. So a lot of those games, they don't care about bots. They don't care about decentralization. They're just going to try to ban them. Of course, actually banning them is a whole nother discussion per game. So as far as like trying to be a focused crypto project that does have lots of tokens or is more focused on DeFi and adding play to earn aspects, I don't think there is a clear answer or a game that I've seen that has done it really well yet. So we're screwed is my answer.
So there is no answer.
No, it's not screwed. I just think it's the answer. The pathway in any of this has not been built yet. There is no pathway. Yeah. Everyone's making up their own thing.
I know what we shouldn't do. Don't do what Axie did. I did warn about this, right? I did say what you're doing with rewards is you're making an SLP. You're making SPS the only thing people can sell to get money. That's an issue. That's what Axie did. Look where it ended up. We don't want to go down that.
But they don't have the flywheel, Damour. We got the flywheel.
And we saw how bloody well that was working, right? Let me demonstrate. Ta-da! Okay.
Just gonna leave that up. I'm gonna probably look at that every day. I'm just gonna be like, this is the best. In like 5 years from now, while we're doing this show again, I'm still gonna I should probably intro with that. Like, build an intro with the flywheel. That's what I need.
Please, yes.
Like it's actually pretty funny. Like what is gonna happen in the coming years? Like I don't know about you guys. It's been a year. Mm-hmm. It's been a flipping year that I've been doing this.
Yes, it's been a while.
Yeah, you're old.
Yeah, it is so different now than it was a year ago.
The game,
so different,
or the show, or Luke, or me.
Everything. Look at him.
Everything.
Look at him. He was in a green closet. Now look at him.
He was.
I still have the green closet. I just moved.
It doesn't take out the closet anymore. It's too much effort. Okay.
But no, I think the game's changed a lot over the years. So to see where we're gonna be in a year from now,
it has changed a lot, and I think for the good. in most cases, there are some things that I don't like. Anyway, I mean,
what if we went back to, like, we kept the reward cards the way that they are, but we went back to the old chests, like 4 a day, 5 games,
no,
get you your chests.
That's bad.
And you're just done.
That's bad. That was really bad. That was really bad.
That was the game I was introduced to and hooked to.
To your point, though, for a serious point, the chess rankings I don't really like either, because it is so inflationary. I don't even know, like exponential, right? It's like a bot can win 50% of their games, or a bad player can win 50% of the games, and they still get 8 chests, where I can work off my ass to win 70% and I get 10 chests. You're like, cool.
Get 10 chests.
Great.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, imagine if you weren't capped in that way, right? Imagine how much those bots will be earning then. I don't. What is the other way of doing it if we don't do it this way?
How about you get a certain amount of chests based on your win percentage for your 14 match? I don't know.
Okay.
You should get more chests based on how fleshy your skin is.
So the more you win, the more you get. That's.
I mean, shouldn't that how it is?
So the challenge that we have is all the perspectives now are so skewed and so out of whack. And the reason for that is because it comes down to supply and demand. It's simple mathematics, really.
Yes.
Yep.
Because the problem is the number of players in the game is X. Yes. Yet the amount of rewards that are being printed is X to the Y power. And it's because of the bots. So when you have more supply of assets, then you have players that can use the assets and not rent the assets, but buy or use the assets. You have price deflation, meaning the price goes down. So what you ideally want is you want an ecosystem where the rewards are equal to, or maybe even a little bit scarcer than the number of players, which drives prices up, which also drives engagement up, which drives new players coming into the game from a play and earn perspective. If we just take gameplay out of the equation and funness, right? The problem is, because the team will not address the bot issue, we keep running against the supply issue of the NFTs, because the supply is out of whack with Chaos Legion. You know, when I came into the game, I got a gold foil Axemaster, which was an epic reward card in one of my first chests, and that's probably why I'm still here today.
Is this why you're a whale?
No, I'm not a whale, and I actually sold.
You're not a krill.
But you're a champion player, bro. Like, come on.
Yeah, no, but here's my point is that card at the time I could sell on the market for $340.
Yeah,
and it would have funded my advancement in the game to earn more, or to try and earn more. The problem now is a new player comes into the game. Well, before soulbound reward cards, is they come in the game and they win a hard claw worth 50 cents, right? So you can see in just a year.
But what can you buy with that
difference.
50 cents?
But yeah, because like with the Axemaster, you're selling for $300. Freaking Mylor level 3 was like $300 back then, wasn't it?
Okay, it was. I was literally. It was funny because I was just having a conversation with Blackfoot before the podcast. He was pointing out that Contessa, the black summoner for the -1 range from Untamed, right? That nobody plays with.
Yes.
He was pointing out that I had a gold one in my collection.
Oh.
And I was like, oh yeah, that was back when I bought that for like $120. And because I was positive that was a safe investment. I'm like, gold summoners,
I'm actually curious though from sales, like, so you saw it for $300 to bankroll. Like, what did you actually buy at the time?
Yeah, what do you buy with that?
So let me go back to my point though. Is, and I see where you're trying to take this counterpoint, Luke. Is here's the thing: if I buy a penny stock, I'm going to get penny returns. It's a risky thing, and that's what it's going to return. you can't buy a quality stock like Apple, for example, for a penny. And there's a reason for that. The same thing is when you have assets that you can earn that are worth more, but then cost more to reinvest into the game, that creates a cycle that continues to grow. Now, I understand from a economics perspective, you're like, well, I want to play for free and I want to earn a lot. That doesn't work in any economic system over the long term, period.
Hey, let's be real. I don't want that at all. At all.
Right.
I do. Sounds great.
So the point is if you want to earn more, you have to either earn more in the game and reinvest that into the game at the current prices that reflect that, or you have to buy into the game for future returns. If you look at it from a pure play and earn economic perspective, that's the way it works. Now, again, not everyone has $340 of Axe Master to sell and put back into the game. I understand that. But at the same time, if you are putting in, let's say you're putting in $10 into the game in Splinterlands, a year and a half or 2 years ago, whatever it happens to be. Yes, you may not be getting $300 a day out of Splinterlands, but if you only put $10 in and you're getting 10 cents a day out of it in rewards, in proportion to what you're putting in of that investment, you're getting really good returns. That's all I'm saying is if you want sustainability, you have to balance the ecosystem. And Matt always talks about balancing the ecosystem and getting the flywheel in play. Right now, with the current philosophy of the game, it can't be done.
It's true.
I mean, you can never print more money than is coming in, right? I mean, that's
unless you're the
obvious.
government.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like that's.
But again, that's still inflation. I mean, they just hide it.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so tin hat. Follow me, everybody.
Okay.
So our banking system has been getting away with printing more than what's coming in for a really long time, mainly because of the US dollar sinks in like other countries, right?
Or
you
the
can just
deficit.
literally dump your dollars there to hide the inflation, right? What if that's what tower defense and GLX are? What if they're the foreign countries that we're dumping our money into to hide inflation?
I mean,
Son of a...
not the Sounds good.
There you go, guys.
I don't care about GLX or the tower defense at all. So yeah, sounds great.
You mean you haven't sold all of your GLX? Because I'm still selling mine.
Oh yeah, I mean, every time I remember to, like every 3 months, sure.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
how
ladies and
often
gentlemen,
I check.
anytime your politicians want to send money overseas to fund some programs over there, that is why they're doing it. Just so that you're curious, it's to just bury inflation and move it somewhere else. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on.
They've proven that it can work.
Yeah, exactly. The US dollar is a great model that we should build all financial systems off of.
No.
Let's go.
No.
Damour's like, no.
No.
Oh my goodness. Hey, that might actually get us banned. I gotta be careful.
Yeah, let's be careful.
That might get us flagged.
You know those alphabet letters I was talking about earlier? They are listening.
I feel they're coming after me.
Boy.
Tails.
What's up?
You did a fantastic job of pointing out the alpha that you're going to drop in a video. I'm glad we got that out of you. I appreciate that. Are you sure you're even going to release your video, or do you just want to share this one?
I'm just going to relink this video and say, hey, watch this for all the alpha you need. and just send me the YouTube royalty checks, please. I'll just make sure it's my way.
Just title the video
Perfect.
Damour Tales of a Rogue Krill.
There we go. That's a title of note.
No, but yeah, I think definitely from a player perspective, I'm enjoying seeing all these. But yeah, I mean, the writing is on the wall. We'll have to see at the end of the season. We'll have to do some math. We'll have to figure out exactly what the estimated timeline is on when somebody's going to have a maxed out everything. And then we'll probably have to push change before that happens. My personal opinion is I would like to see them pull the cord on this before we get to that point, because I do believe the mistake was made having a full line of summoners involved in this. I think it would have been fine to do without the summoners. I understand Construct is awesome, but yeah, this all is possible because they're going to give out free summoners and lots of them.
I like free summoners, and I cannot lie.
I mean, everyone does. I mean, but to your point, Rogue, I mean, it's from a bot perspective. I mean, not like bots were buying Chaos Legion packs or Rift Watcher packs anyways, because they're just using the rental market. But at the same time, it definitely, for those looking to exploit the game's earning potential, it's going to cut into any future revenue potentially for the company as well.
Yeah, it's very ironic that this choice was made to solve bot earnings. Yeah.
Wow. Last Hope was a hot take. No reward cards at all.
Nothing.
Nothing.
How about no cards at all?
You don't
Just
deserve
SPL.
any rewards. Oh my goodness.
No TC.
Okay.
There's no game. There's just SPS and DEC and a liquidity pool that you can flip back and forth, aka DeFi.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. This is what our Web3 expert has learned in the last year.
There's some
What was
hope there's some hope
what was-
for you guys.
Yeah, what was my dumb tweet last week? It was like, if I had $1 for every crypto project I see and think, what the hell, why does this exist? I would have like 100 Bitcoin by now. I'd be filthy rich.
No, I'm with
Living
you.
large.
I'm with you.
So,
And
so
yeah,
I want to also go ahead.
Last Hope has a point. Like, if you just don't have any reward cards, and if the only cards that you have in the game are the NFTs that you have to buy, yes, that totally does make sense.
Yes.
That would be the solution. Then we're just playing for tokens, right? And we're just playing for potions. Like, do you still give away packs? Like, are you fine with that, Last Hope? Because I do really like pulling packs.
Packs I like.
Packs are
Because
great.
it's the same cards that we're talking about, right? That need to be purchased, right? It's not other cards. I could even go ahead, Tails.
No, go ahead, Damour. Go ahead. I interrupt you.
I could even, see perhaps a very small reward set not being. But again, we come to the printing issue, right? The printing issue remains the issues. If you include it in the rewards, the bots are going to print an astronomical amount, making too many of them available, and that remains the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to also address another point that may come up, all around this topic as a kind of devil's advocate or a counterpoint. And the point being that, but land is the answer. Land is the answer to everything, and land is going to soak up all these cards, and we don't have enough cards to man land. My point on land is, in theory, yes, if you create a big enough landfill, you can fill it with a bunch of garbage. Absolutely, right? There's no doubt about it. But the point is, and maybe that's a bad analogy, but the point
Are
is,
you talking about a foreign country that we're gonna hide inflation in?
No, that was your
son of a.
earlier. But
Pretoria, you.
Pretoria, the landfill of misfit cards. Yeah, no, but here's my point where I'm going with this is that land will only soak up cards to be staked or put there if land is profitable as a economic DeFi piece of the game to do so. Yeah. So again, the supply of the cards, yes, in theory could, like all those Chaos Legion cards could go and suck up all these spots in land moving forward. But, that's assuming that, it's a better return than renting those out or burning those or selling those. If the returns from land and minting cards and items and spells, or the returns from arenas and stuff is not balanced and is not such where, like if I'm going to put, let's say I own a tract and I got to put, what is it, 500 max level cards on a tract to get that farming stuff at top efficiency. If those 500 max level cards, let's say it cost me, I don't know, $10 a card. Let's say it cost me $5,000 to stake those cards on the land, but my return in a year on that land in SPS or whatever items I can sell is only like, $500 or $1,000. Am I really going to stick all those cards on the land, or am I going to rent them? Or going to do something else? So the point is land is not the solution, the silver bullet necessarily, unless land is implemented very well. So for those that say that land is the answer to everything, let's see. The answer is not yet in. So
the
we have
answer is
to
the flywheel, not land.
Flywheel. Let's go.
Yeah. Woo.
I tell you what, I think this is a good segue for us because this is something that I did want to talk about tonight. The town hall, Matt went all beautiful mind on land for an hour, but I guess my hot take is we are nowhere further along after his big reveal than we were before his big reveal.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
All still speculation at this point. Nothing's been built. No numbers have been put. They are still 30,000 miles above Pretoria designing. And honestly, I was, I just, and then everything that he was talking about, I was like, oh my goodness, is this even a game that I want to play? Like the amount of things and like just like you do this, combine it with this, build it with this, and then he was like, all right, so man, come back. What was your guys' take on Matt's 1 hour land?
I didn't listen.
I didn't listen either.
Thank you, Damour.
You're stressing me out.
I own no land. I don't care about land.
So
I
you
will
use
say
that
this,
nice
that
fast forward button.
I think, if you consider that really Matt's kind of rolled up his sleeves probably in the last, couple months around land and dug in there, I think there's a lot more there. Because really, I think up until maybe Q3, maybe even parts of Q4 of this last year, land was still a blank slate that was yet to be written. There's just nothing there. So I think they've made good progress.
Lots of progress.
Given
super revealing when he said that like his COVID weekend in the middle of January, like he put a lot of pen to paper. I'm like, dude, that was 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Like, holy crap. We're still like, it was literally the same thing in the GLX town hall when all of a sudden he was like, yeah, like we decided that it's going to be like an NBA hoops a week ago. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what have you guys been doing for the last? I was shocked, honestly. So yeah, when he was like, yeah, the COVID weekend was like the best, like did so much and like came up with a lot of this. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's.
Isn't that every CEO though? It's like every
no,
CEO,
I mean
like
for
visionary.
So here's the thing: is we have to realize that like for GLX, there is literally a project manager, 2 developers, and chatter developing that game essentially, with Matt kind of overseeing it and saying, "Yeah, I get this. This makes sense, right?" So this is the reality. And the same thing for land. I know we've got Farpatrod and maybe some developers working alongside him and Matt designing it, but it's literally a shoestring kind of thing. So, but you have literally probably, 10 to maybe 10,000 plus people waiting on every breath they have to say about this. and they're giving town hall updates every week, right? So you've got a discrepancy, just like we have a supply demand discrepancy in the game of Splinterlands. Here you've got information frequency and open transparency, which I will say is a positive for Splinterlands. They're very transparent. They're very open. They keep their cadence of the town halls, and they provide insights to the game and the development that no other company that I'm aware of does. So kudos to the team for Splinterlands for doing that. That's huge. At the same time, it's also scary, as you say, Rogue, is because we really get to see behind the curtain here of this, Wizard of Oz here to say, hey, there literally is like just a handful of folks developing this stuff for all of us to enjoy, and we have to set expectations accordingly.
Yeah. Krill?
I mean, basically every roadmap I've ever seen in Web3 is a lie.
Yeah,
that's not even Splinterlands, man.
Yeah.
Like, I've been researching and studying a lot about game development and like not Web3 game development, just game development in general, and like how often they studios that have decades of experience are still working up to the last minute every single release or pushing dates constantly. And it's like, if they can't even figure out, and we're trying to add an economy and all this stuff on with less resources, less money, less team members than I just don't trust any roadmap that's out there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Splinterlands or any of them. Like, it's not just a Splinterlands problem.
Yeah. So yeah, it was like when he was talking, he was reading off of this big thing, like we're gonna get whatever this data dump is that he was reading off of, where it's gonna lay out all the high level details, right? But I think generally I had a lot of questions early that weren't really addressed, because he was talking to a point where like you get to choose the building that you put on your land. Like every piece of land will have a building that you can build, and you get to choose it. And I thought that was weird, right? Because then he was like, some people can build arenas. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, arenas like do this whole other thing, and they're a passive income based on the SPS rewards from ranked play. Why wouldn't everyone just build arenas? Who cares about?
It's a free market, so it's the same thing with LPs, liquidity pools. Why wouldn't everyone just hop into an LP and get the X% rewards? It's because the more people that jump in, the rewards go down. Same thing with buildings on land. If everyone builds an arena, then all those arena proceeds get divided up by all those players. So people will diversify into other parts of the economy where there's profit to be made. The thing that
diversify, like we're talking about a building, like they talked about repurposing buildings, but oh my god, if we're talking about sinking funds and leveling something up, like you're gonna repurpose that, like it's not like an LP where you're just like, my APR is here, I'm just gonna withdraw, quick sign, and like we're talking about a building where like
we don't know.
Reference that we have at this point is our guild buildings. Oh my goodness, if I had to tear down a guild building to restart, I'm like, man, never mind, this path isn't the best for me. I want to be a stonesmith now. Knock down my level 10 stadium,
How much of that stuff is set in stone though? Because like I see that as a visionary, as an idea guy, and then they must have someone on the team that says, hey, settle down, here's what we can actually do, here's what's realistic. Like
that used to be Matt when he had to program it. Now like that was the other thing we learned in the town hall, is that now Nate's the one that's scared to death of everything and trying to put a lid on something, because Matt's just going crazy. He's like, now that I don't got to program it, the world's our oyster. Let's go.
Right.
And I'll also add another thing that we have to be aware of is they have to program land to be engaging and meaningful for the owner of one plot of land and the owner of 3 regions or like 3,000 plots of land. At the same time, they also need to make land meaningful and engaging to someone who doesn't own any land. That is a tough scale and spectrum to manage expectations through. You're not going to be able to make everyone happy there. And that is, for me, what I'm going to find to be intriguing to see how they balance that. Because inevitably, whether you're a single owner, a tract owner, or a regional owner, someone's going to be not happy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And I think that's the point. Like, I was blown away by all of the depth, but none of the details. And honestly, I was like, this is gonna hurt. Like, this is, I actually came out of that not excited for land. At the end of the day, like, his whole rant, I was like, this is crazy, and I have no idea. Like, I have no idea what's going on. Like, my OCD just did not like his presentation at all. Nothing felt clear. Nothing felt like we were teased with this secret of Pretoria, which is going to be this like chapter 1 of land where we don't get to produce, or like we don't get to like
do anything
except for grow. Like, oh, that was the other thing. Oh my goodness, that was the other thing. I flipped out. I paused and flipped out for a minute when they said spells are not part of like the first part of land. I was like, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? This was the purpose of land. And they even still said, they were like, yeah, this is the end goal of land, but like, I mean, until we get there, we're gonna have this secret of Pretoria where you just spend a bunch of the resources that you're going to use for spells.
I don't think they realized that. I don't think
it's going to be,
and
you're going to really spend more money than everybody else. Trust me, because it's a secret. But yeah, no, we're not going to have any spells. Like, nothing's going to really change in Splinterlands yet, because remember, that was the big thing. It was like, remember, when land comes, there's going to be spells, and there's a whole level to the game that bots aren't going to be able to keep up with. But then now they're just like, no.
The bots aren't going to care about items and spells. That's not going to matter. The problem is items and spells.
Yeah, we'll get to crafting spells later.
Okay.
You're literally redesigning the game, adding items and spells. So the fact that they thought it could be done that quickly, like, think of how much development, how much balancing, and how much playtesting you would need to essentially redo an entire part of the game, because you can't just throw items and spells and say, oh, it's done. Like, it's a whole 100%. Other layer to the game that you have to 100%. Rebalance every single thing in the game.
Yeah. So let me come back and just remind the audience, as a grown man, I have found that oftentimes when I'm angry in life, it's just because I have unmet expectations. The majority of anger comes from unmet expectations. So if you ever feel angry, just think, what expectation did you have that wasn't met? For me, it's that there's not going to be spells or items when land is released, and that I'm instead going to be spending resources for a secret. Not excited about that.
Yeah.
But trust me, guys, it's going to be a secret that you all want. Everybody's going to want it.
Sounds like a pre-sale, Rogue.
And you have to do it in tangent, like with your region, like your neighbors. Let's be real. Show of hands, who owns a house?
No.
Okay.
No house for me.
Show of hands, who lives next to people? Damour, are you out in the middle of the woods?
I am actually, yeah. But
anyway, like to like all of a sudden have this thing where it's like, I don't know, and that's the other thing. It's like the castle and keep. Everybody's got to participate with the castle and keep, but the owner of the castle and the keep doesn't have to do anything. But something like participate. I'm just. Fuck. I'm just anyway.
Yeah, frustration abound.
I think I'm gonna sell my land.
Okay.
I've had that
If
same
you
thought.
noticed, Rogue, you weren't the only one that had those feelings after the town hall.
No way, really? I didn't
Because
follow.
on the non-card market, immediately after the town hall, a track sold for $9,600.
Really?
So someone said
Oh.
basically like, I'm out. Basically,
Somebody
after
said
hearing
nope.
the town hall.
Yeah, I was like, okay,
Somebody said nope.
It's pretty funny, actually.
I'm cashing out.
Yeah, so
I mean,
let's go ahead and look at this.
There's definitely a
non-card
point
market.
of over designing a game. Like, I know it's like he's really into the DeFi and crypto side of things, and I know they want to try to build something new with the experience, which I applaud. I think that's cool that they're trying to do something new. But I definitely agree, Rogue. Like, there needs to be caution of like, you can overcomplicate something that seems brilliant in your own mind, and just the majority of people are just like, I don't get it. I'm out. I'm too confused.
Yeah, and so I think that was the other realization I got to, is like, this is probably going to be a game for somebody else. I don't think I'm going to enjoy this at the end of the day, and I think that's fine. I don't mind that. Like, I'll still have like the trading card game that I'm gonna love. But yeah, so Darren's bringing up, he says, but you're YGG, you guys aren't doing a group thing. Yeah, we're gonna make sure that we open up all of our land kind of at the same time so that we're close to each other. That you know, people that want to can be in tracks and regions together. We've got 2 regions ourselves within the sub DAO, so like that'll be nice. The entire regions that we have will be, you know, managed by the sub DAO, so there's going to be control over those assets. But yeah, no, at the end of the day, I'm more speaking from the just as an individual player and listening to what you know, what was presented for us. But
So
yeah,
can we
good
talk
point.
about
From the
that?
YGG side, I'm not too worried. Like, it'll be fine. There's plenty of people smarter than me and that are going to enjoy this way more than I am. That'll take care of this, and that'll be awesome. Don't have to
Can we
worry
talk about that, Rogue? Like, how,
Go ahead.
when you talk about that, how is YGG, the SPL and the sub DAO, going to manage, for example, 2,000 plots of land? Let's just say, take all the YGG guilds and the guild members that exist today. There's probably not 2,000 members necessarily, but let's just say they are. How are you going to manage the renting, the delegation, the upkeep, the tracking of all of that within YGG? That's going to be a full-time job for like 3 or 4 people alone.
Yeah.
You just
Outside of the
hire
game.
people from
100% might be.
from Southeast Asia, and then we have just the exact same thing with Axie.
No, at the end of the day, like, you're right. In speculation, I can only tell you that it's going to be hard, and I have no idea. Because there's no flipping details yet. You like, I don't know what it's going to take to manage a single plot. I don't know what it's going to take to stake. I don't know how easy it's going to be to delegate a plot to somebody. Like, the actual technical aspect of this, no flipping idea at all. Is it going to be crazy? Yes, 100% it's going to be crazy.
Isn't Archmage YGG?
No,
no.
Splex.
Oh,
they are working with the Golem website, Splex, which is YGG. They are members of YGG.
All I'm saying, just get those bot farm makers to just go build a bot that works all your land and figures it out for you.
That's kind of in the working already. It has been discussed and talked about. They are actually working on something.
It's a very interesting concept, because when we talk about delegations, like, there's currently no delegation system for like guilds, right? Like, so if we're talking about this plot of land has to have resources dumped into it, but I'm also letting somebody else work it, like, does that mean that person's not going to be putting anything back into it? Like, I don't actually know how any of this is going to work, because we have no details on land. I just know that we own 2 regions and that there's a lot of YGG guild members that have land plots that will be like revealing ours together. So we'll figure it out when we get some details, when we start to get some planning going. But yeah, right now, no idea, brother.
Just let Tails figure it out. You got it, Tails. I believe in you.
I believe in Tails too. Sorry. The most valuable information for me was to hear that you can put 5 cards on a plot, max copies, and alpha beta golds give you. But honestly, that was a little misleading too, because he also said there's like a multiplier based on BCX, right? So a reward common is a 400x, but a legendary should be more productive than a common. So like if the legendary can only do 11x, what's the base value there? Like he spent a lot of time specifically saying like 400x and almost making it sound like the max commons are better than what a max legendary is going to be in Chaos Legion, but then also said that's what the whole thing didn't make sense to me. I get that's Rogue's hot take. Is question marks. It's just
question.
All
I have some questions.
I didn't have as many questions before that town hall. I understood land more before he gave me information.
All right, guys, I gotta jump off to a late.
Yeah,
so.
we're going for a 2-hour marathon here.
I've been trolling. Splinterlands is great. We're just making jokes. It's gonna be fine, guys. To the moon. SPS of $10. All reward cards are gonna 100x from here in 3 months. DC, we're gonna get that flywheel going, baby. It's coming. It's coming.
Flywheel's coming. The flywheel's coming. Okay.
Flywheel
okay.
This is all financial advice courtesy of Luke.
Yeah, flywheel's coming.
Damour Tales of a Rogue.
So right at that point where he reaches the apex, that's when you want to jump off. Okay, that's where you want to jump.
Bye, y'all. See you guys.
Let's go. All right, later, Luke.
Cheers, man.
Oh yeah, so Damour, you got to get off too. I feel like I ended right on like a rant though, and like we got no solutions for that, so that was my bad. Like, does anybody else want to chime in on land at all? I know Damour, you don't have land.
Look, I mean, I think it will bring a whole other level to the game, right? I think it has potential to do great things for our economy. It also has potential to go very wrong, right? And we do need to be careful about how and what exactly we're going to do here.
Yep.
There's definitely going to be impact on our game. That's for sure.
Yep. I agree. Tails?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's hard to know what to expect there. So it's kind of like buyer beware. I mean, I own land, so I want to be prepared or as best prepared as I can be. But at the same time, you know, how much resources and stuff do you sink into something for the future? Like you said, that is unknown, uncertain, and who knows when it's going to get here. So again, it's kind of risk and reward. You know, if you believe in the team, if you believe in the vision, if you believe that they can execute, then sure, load up on DECB, load up on reward card, max copies, and you could be laughing your way all the way to the bank. Or you could be spending lots of money right now to never see it ever again. So, you know, it's pick your path and, you know, be happy with it, I guess.
Diversify, my friends. Don't play one or the other. Diversify.
Don't put your eggs in one basket.
Amen. Yeah, so sorry about that, guys. Didn't mean to like go all Tales of the Cryptmancer and go like doom and gloom on you guys, but
Negative Nancy.
Hey, it's not doom and gloom. It's a little dose of realism for all the hopium out there.
It's a dead game.
But yeah, it was
dead game.
Yeah, it was. I got a nice dose of crap out of that last town hall. So, but it is what it is. I'm still excited about Splinterlands. Still playing the game actively. I will be toning down the bot this season to actually log some battles myself in ranked. But so yeah, I'm still here, still rocking it. All the opportunities are great. The sky is falling. Good night.
Yeah, I love that one.
Right?
Sky is falling.
Just leave you on that. Good night.
I'll be here all week.
Sell me your assets. Good night.
I want to buy your legendaries for pennies, please. Sell your legendaries for pennies to me.
But yeah, So, Tails, any final notes?
No, I mean, I guess tomorrow will be a big drop for Luke and other content creators, so be on the lookout for that.
All right. Damour, final thoughts?
I love you guys. I love the game. Thanks for the show. It was awesome. And yeah, see you guys around the Splinterverse.
Yeah. Amen. I also love the community, love the game, love the team, and I'm still excited for all things to come. So we will see you guys next week. Make sure you stop by on Saturday. Damour does a weekend challenge in the morning, and then usually joins us at night for another weekend challenge. But keep an eye out for the YGG SPL tournaments this Saturday. Join us for those. We have streams to go with, and then if not, come back next Wednesday. Let's see what kind of new, spicy, awesome things we get to talk about in our wonderful, wonderful blockchain games. So until next time, my friends, GG.
Cheers, everybody.